Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. You know, I've seen that video many, many times, and every time I see it, it still gives me goosebumps. So, just a show of hands, okay? Has anybody ever been to a One Championship show? Or maybe not to a show, but maybe you've seen it on video, on TV, Toggle. Anybody? Well, that's a good number. That's great. Well, my name is Mei Wee, and I wear several hats in life. Today, I'm going to share with you a little bit about my journey as an athlete. Some people have said that you can be a bona fide career athlete, and there are very few people in Singapore who can actually assume that title. So here's my story. I've been involved in competitive sports since I was 8 years old. So I had my first international competition when I was about this high. And from the age of 8 to 22, I was involved in swimming, competitive swimming. And in those years, my competitions have seen me all through Asia, around the world, and I have competed in the Southeast Asian Games, the Commonwealth Games, the Asian Games, and finally to the Olympics in 1992 in Barcelona. Recently, I've had the opportunity of representing Singapore again in the Asian Games, but this time I came back as a martial artist. I wasn't the swimmer anymore. So at the age of 42, I got a chance to go to my third Asian Games in a sport called Jiu-Jitsu. Qualifying for the national team again at this age was difficult. It was challenging. There were a lot of moments where I thought, my goodness, I don't know how we're doing this. Apart from running a school with 300 kids, the training, the bureaucratic mess that was going on made it really hard, and the trials, everything was so unsure. But I made it with the support of my family, my friends, and most importantly, I had the support of One Championship. They had given me time off from my obligations in the cage so that I could focus on my training and have another shot at making the national team again. I fought well at the Asian Games, but the results were quite unexpected, and it wasn't good enough for me to bring a medal home. But I'm still really, really honored and happy to have been able to represent Singapore again in this really, really prestigious event. So, many people have asked me over the years, you've had such a decorated swimming career. Why did you change? Why did you stop? Why did you go to martial arts? It's quite simple. Swimming, for me, was just a sport. You win medals, you break national records, and there wasn't really anything more beyond that. Martial arts, on the other hand, was something quite special. In most martial arts, it isn't just fighting or training. Martial arts is usually deeply embedded in history and culture. There's language involved. And most of all, what's really important for me and that I hold really dearly to my heart is the core values of martial arts: respect, integrity, honor, and humility. So, these values have been guiding me in the past 10 years through critical situations, challenging situations, great situations, and these are the values that ground me. The values are my grounding, but they are also the pillars that govern the organization that I'm signed to, which is One Championship. One Championship has done a lot of work on the ground, and the work they've done has added value to the lives of their athletes, but most importantly, it has enabled the youth in the surrounding areas in Asia, kids who are poor, kids who come from poor families, kids who are in really difficult circumstances. We have enabled them to dream, to hope, and to go out there and achieve greatness. My personal journey as a martial artist is very different from what most people would perceive. It goes beyond the lights of the cage. It goes beyond the scrutiny of media. It goes beyond the opinions of the public. It's actually a lot closer to my heart. My journey as a martial artist is really inspired by children. It's that simple. I've been teaching for 10 years now. I teach martial arts to little children. We start them at about 2.5 years old and go to about the age of 12. I have about 300 kids in my school. I teach capoeira. So I use martial arts as a tool to impart these values to our kids. You know, I think we all have different tools that we use, but I think martial arts is something that I feel comfortable with. I couldn't connect, I couldn't use that. I couldn't use swimming as a tool. I somehow just could not make the connection. So with martial arts, through music and through physical movement, through dance, through acrobatics, through history, through language, I'm able to get through to children, and I'm able to teach them these core values. So the core values are important, but in this current day and age, I think what's more important is giving them practical skills. And through martial arts, I'm able to teach them the values of resilience. We develop their mindset. We teach them leadership skills. And also we give them the ultimate gift of confidence, okay? So these skills are just really important for them to be able to navigate through life's contortions, the fast-changing society, and the challenges that they face ahead. So that's a personal journey in martial arts, but my competitive journey is very different. It's like a roller coaster, okay? You never know what to expect. I've had some exhilarating highs and excruciating lows in competition. But you know what? That's the territory of competition. It reflects life. You win some, you lose some. You're not gonna win all the time. And through competition, I have learned to accept the pressure, to accept the challenges, to accept the scrutiny of the world. So, this year, making the Asian Games was special. It was special because I made it in a sport that's really physical. Okay, Jiu-Jitsu is a combat sport. It's injuries happen all the time. But what was special was I made it at the age of 42. This is my second career in sports. And what this means is I think I have made a very subtle paradigm shift in the minds of people. That age is no longer a limiting factor in what you can achieve in life. It shouldn't be. I think I've made a little dent, but some people said, I think you just smashed it. You smashed that mental barrier for some people. And I hope that those in this room who've listened to the story can get inspired and get out there and chase after your dreams. Do what you've always wanted to, what you've hoped for, and what you've dreamed of. Go start that business. Go run with that idea. Go get that new project started. Go back to school if you wanted to, you know. Go do it. It's not too late. It's never too late. It's too late if you don't start. So, my little journey and my story, it's not always about victory. It's about the journey, getting there, of being persistent, of believing in yourself, of confidence. Sometimes things look really bleak, but you have to have it in you. It doesn't matter what the people around you think. It doesn't matter what they say. You need to know that it's going to work out for you. So that belief has to come from deep inside. Sometimes things look very unlikely. My journey for the qualifications to the Asian Games looked terrible. In January, we were told that we were going to have trials, and the trials were canceled. And after that, for the longest time, nothing had happened. In June, all of a sudden, they said, well, yes, we're going to have trials, and we had 10 days notice. 10 days notice to prepare for a major event, to make the major event, that's bordering on ridiculous. But the athletes who believed themselves pulled their act together. We made it. We made it to the games, and one of the girls performed really well, and she came back with a silver medal. So despite all of that, with the hiccups, with the administrative hiccups and the timelines, and everything was confused and everyone was really stressed out, this is additional stress. There's the competition stress, the training stress, and the stress of the unknown. There will always be a stress of the unknown. If you choose to do something great, if you choose to do something new, if you choose to do something challenging, the unknown will always be there, but that's okay. That should be something you are comfortable with. So, with this story, and as I take my leave, I will be going on a vacation soon, because with all the competition and the work and the training, I haven't had a break in 2 years. But in the 2 years that I've been doing all this, I've enjoyed every single bit of it. It was hard, it was challenging, it was extremely frustrating sometimes, but to get to where I wanted to, it was all worth it. So, as I take my rest, I will be preparing myself to step up into the One Championship cage again soon enough, probably early next year. Looking forward to my next challenge. And in case you all didn't know, there is a One Championship event in November in Singapore. If that video looked impressive, being there is mind-blowing. So in November, I hope to see all of you there supporting the event's One Championship. Good morning, and enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wee. Can you say, hold on to the stage? We'd like to have some Q&A right now. Is it okay with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Do we have any burning questions for me? Any burning questions? Oh, yes, the gentleman over there. Can we pass the mic to him?
Yeah, I'm very impressed that you got into MMA. Is it MMA or martial arts?
Well, yes, for One Championship, it's MMA, and then in the Asian Games, it was Jiu-Jitsu, so it was actually two different sports.
Okay, anyway, martial arts at that age, right? I wouldn't mention that age, I can't remember.
I'm 42.
Did you face any resistance from perhaps the organizers or whoever from there?
You know, I think I've been very lucky. I've been signed to 3 different promotions. My first one was Rebel Fighting Championship, and then after that, I fought in the World Series of Fighting, which is an American promotion. And after that, One Championship offered me a contract, and I took it. I took it because I have been studying them for a while, and their values were completely consistent with mine. And my journey has not been met with much resistance in terms of getting into the cage to fight. So I think I've been very, very lucky.
That's good to know, yeah.
Yeah, my promotion has been very, very good to me, so.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any more questions?
Thank you. Do we have time for a couple? Yes, the lady over there. Can we pass the mic to her in front row?
Hi, May.
Hello.
So are you still competing actively in One Championship? Will we be seeing you in any of the matches?
Yes, I will be, most likely next year. I've just had a long year of competition, actually a year and a half. You know, it's just been nonstop, back to back, and I'm barely a month off of Asian Games. I just came back a month ago. So I need some time to recover. I need to recharge my mind. I've had some injuries all through the year, and that needs to recover too. So I think when I'm good and ready, I will definitely be back in the cage.
So do you like when you face like way younger like contestants, do you have any fear, or how do you make yourself feel, or how do you inspire others?
Okay, when I see my opponents, their age is completely irrelevant to me. What's relevant is their skill, their tenacity, if they're good fighters, basically, you know. So I don't fear the opponent, but of course, when you step into a cage, there are a lot of unknowns. There are risks, obviously, you know. So I have the period of fear. It's probably like 2 weeks before I step into the cage. That's when I freak out and I think everything that can go wrong will go wrong, you know, Murphy's Law. But after a while, I get over it because the fear is what kickstarts the adrenaline and starts building. So I think it's silly for someone to say they're not afraid. They're either, you know, or they're straight up lying, because you've got to be somewhat afraid going into a situation like that. The opponent wants to hurt you. You know, but age is never a factor for me. I mean, I fought Ann Osman a year ago, and she was way younger than me, and I still won the match. So it really doesn't matter.
Okay, thank you. All the best.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Oh, yes, Dr. Ong.
Yes, May, congratulations for your achievements. I get asked this question a lot because I went from being a scientist into business. So in your case, you went from being a medical doctor into sports and very different kinds of sports. So I've shared my views several times in different occasions like that. I think it could benefit the audience here to hear your transition and
so basically transition from medicine to sports, going back to sports. Well, obviously that transition wasn't easy, but at the end of the day, it boiled down to what I wanted as a lifestyle, number one, and number two, the impact I can have on society as a whole. You see, as a doctor, I figured, I'm in Singapore. There are lots of brilliant doctors here. We have one sitting right there, Dr. Ong, you know, one of her tests, her diagnostic tests just got passed by the FDA. So we have lots of brilliant doctors in Singapore. And if I went along and did that, I could be another doctor, yes, but I could just be a very average doctor. I wouldn't be standing up here, I don't think. You know, my passion for medicine is, I have a curiosity for medicine. I did medicine because I wanted to study the human body. As an athlete my whole life, I wanted to know how the body worked to the level of the molecules. So the only way you can really do that, I think, is through medicine, to study it thoroughly. But practicing as a medical doctor is a whole different step. And I did that for a while, but I decided, you know, I can contribute, but not in the way that I would working with children, not in the way that I would as a martial artist. Of course, I didn't plan this, you know, I didn't plan doing MMA, I didn't plan being a mixed martial arts fighter or going back to making the national team again. This all wasn't planned, but somehow my passion, my drive, my confidence and the belief in myself got me here through sports. I've always believed in life, in education, in opportunities through sports, and I'm living proof. So medicine is great, but as a lifestyle, in the way that I can contribute to society, I think I've done the right thing and picked the right choice.
Okay, thank you very much. Oh, that's still, okay, we'll have time for just one last question.
I'll make it.
One last question.
I'll
The
make it
lady at
very
the back.
quick.
Yeah.
I thought the previous question was spot on in terms of the transition. I also wanted to learn more about any particular self-limiting beliefs that you may have had or you may have struggled with, May, whilst making the transition.
Yes, I guess I was a late starter in martial arts. I started martial arts when I was 28. I started training when I was 28. And of course, there was no, I didn't plan on competing either. So this whole thing just kind of felt like an accident. I trained, I learned martial arts because I enjoyed it. I was passionate about it. I went to class every day, I trained every day, not because I had to, but because I wanted to. I enjoyed it. It was fun for me. And when the opportunities came for competition, that's when people started asking questions like that. Like, you doing this at 37? I said, yeah, why not? We'll try it. If something bad happens, I'll stop. If it doesn't, I'll keep going. Dara Torres was an American swimmer. She was 40 when she won her fifth medal in the Olympics. She got in second in the 50-meter freestyle. That's a sprint. She was 40 years old. So I had some references, and I thought, if she could do that, I could probably make it till at least 40 and see if I can do something with this. But like I said, in a lot of my journeys and my achievements, I didn't set out to be the Olympian. I didn't set out to be the career athlete who was a sports icon. I didn't set out to be like that. It was where the journey took me. But when the opportunities came, I took it, and that's where it led me. So limiting beliefs, I don't really think I have any, but it's just been brought to my awareness and my attention because people ask me. And then I go, oh, my age, it's just a number. So, yes.
Thank you very much, May. We'll have to take the question offline, so sorry, as time is running. Thank you, May, so much. Thank you for your honest sharing. Thank you very much. Can you give May a big hand? Thank you.
Thank you
and
for your
may we
attention.
invite